Hey, Brent here.
And I'm Chase.
And we're sitting here having a discussion about how we do things here. There's never a shortage of things to do. And, we shared about how you like to stay busy and then which I like to share in new experiences, so with our upcoming schedule, what is it that you look forward to in the staying busy of, I guess we just really need to share about what our schedule looks like.
Well, I know we've talked a little bit about it already today, but I'm really excited about the golf tournament coming up, May 30th. And that's not the only thing we're doing. What all do we have going on?
The next thing after that is going to be on June the 7th. We have our women's conference.
Women's conference, that's going to be really exciting for me and all the women, I'm sure, because after we started talking about having J.D. Vance's mother to come speak, I actually watched the movie Hillbilly Elegy for the second time and kind of was reminded how much that actually resembles my life. Her story and as well as J.D. Vance's story is kind of similar to mine. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother because my mother was a nurse who was also in and out of addiction, very similar to J.D. Vance. So that story is really inspiring to me because it's so relatable. So that's going to be awesome.
I admire that, I make connections as well as with the things that I watch and how does my life fit into it or how do I relate to that thing? And, I like hearing you say that. And I joke with you because we're brothers and we're like, yeah, except you and J.D. Vance are nothing alike. And you're an instructor here at John 3 and he's the vice president.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I only joke with you because we are brothers,
Right.
But there's a woman that's coming, Beverly Akins. I really think it's quite neat because she has a story that every woman that's going to come to this ministry will have a similar aspect, whether that be drug and alcohol addiction or overcoming or just aspiring to have a new life, to become somebody completely different because love is motivating them to be someone different.
Yeah, that's right.
And I can look at my mother and see, hey, my mom had that problem, but she also had the love in her heart that drove her forward that says, hey, I'm not supposed to be this way. I want to be someone else. And so that's an inspiring story by Miss Beverly, and I look forward to her getting to share that with the ladies. I know my wife's excited about it. I know my mom's excited about it as well. And then it's also cool to see that there's men who can also see themselves in the story that's part of her, what we call her testimony or her life.
Right.
And it's not going to be a political event. It's not a political event. It's an event about the redemptive power of Christ in a woman's life, and then she gets to share that. She happens to be J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States of America's mother,
right.
Which I think is really cool, and which brings us up to one of our next events. Right after the women's conference, we have the 5K race at Ridge Runner.
Yeah.
Which my wife gets to help be a part of, but it's like the second annual John 3:16 5K.
Yeah, actually, I ran in the first annual John 3:16 5K, and it turns out I'm not in the same shape that I was when I was 120 pounds in high school. But it was still fun to get to participate in something like that, just like the golf tournament, something that's different that you wouldn't expect to be doing at a place that a lot of people consider a rehab. Right. Even though we're not a rehab, we're a spiritual boot camp for men and women with addictions. The things that we get to do to glorify Jesus and to keep this ministry going are kind of outside of the box, and they can be fun, and we can have fun serving Jesus. So that always keeps me on my toes, keeps me excited, and doing stuff that's different all the time.
Right. It just continues to speak to me. Like if we were doing the same thing over and over and over again, we'd be like, Jason Page's favorite word is monotonous.
Yeah.
In fact, if you say that, he still cringes his teeth because he thought that what following Christ was like was nothing but the same thing over and over again. And anyhow, that's in his own story, and that's not an upcoming event. But we have always something new coming up, and one of our big announcements, which we got to make it on the night of Unity Fest, and we used the live radio and then the stage of 10,000 viewers, is that Lee Greenwood will be taking the stage for Freedom Fest. You may not know this, but Donald Trump's over in the Arab nations right now. He's in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And he actually flew Lee Greenwood over to him in the Middle East, where he's doing these conferences, but Lee Greenwood's performing, and I think that's incredible. He had him at all of his Trump rallies, where he traveled all over the United States. And then, of course, he's got some of the most iconic music you can imagine. What is it, Proud to be an American?
Proud to be an American.
You better believe it. So we will get to have Freedom Fest where what is Freedom Fest to you,
Well, when I think of Freedom Fest, I know traditionally it's kind of been almost a 4th of July celebration here at the ministry. So it's just kind of a chase into summer. It's kind of like summer is really here. We get to celebrate freedom in Jesus, and we also get to celebrate the freedom that we have in this country to worship Jesus and do things like we do here at John 3:16. And I think it's a common topic of discussion. I know coming out of my mouth anyway, how that's what this country needs more anyway, is to be under the authority of God, to be in unity together, following the same God. So it's exciting to get to come together and do that and have a concert with a legend like Lee Greenwood and get to see people from the community come out and have a good time. It's always fun.
Yeah. And, freedom always comes at a cost.
Yeah.
It's never free for someone. It cost Christ his life, in which he willingly gave. Which he would say is service, and then we follow suit. What greater love is there than to lay down one's life for his brothers? Is a Bible verse, but in that the military. What more can they sacrifice? They've sacrificed lives. That's what helped add to the freedom of the United States of America. So going into Freedom Fest, that's what I think of as the cost of it, and then remembering those who gave all, who sacrificed, and one, Christ, but two, everybody that fell suit and followed his example. But we also look at it here as a form of service to Jesus, to where we also lay down our lives to pick up whatever it is these men need here.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like teaching. And then, of course, we get Proud to be an American over the loudspeaker as we're sewing into the guys. What better place, or what better way to show a guy that freedom is available, but it does cost.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point, Brent. And I like that you mentioned laying down our lives to continue the things going for us, because if Jesus hadn't done what he did for us, then would I be here today as an addict or be living the life that I'm living? Definitely not.
No way.
And then what a blessing to get the opportunity to stay here and do that for other guys, Right. I don't think there's any purpose in the world that's comparable to what we get to do here, but I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, and that's why we call it reasonable service.
Yeah,
that's what the disciples talk about. It's in God's word. It's in Scripture. Service or reasonable service is just simply doing what it takes to follow Jesus. And but the upcoming events, we will need help promoting, and that's you on the other side of the camera. We'll let you in on the conversation. We do need help in the likes and shares. We do need help as far as whenever it is we call you. To help relay messages, or to just get on there and hit the share button. You never know who that's going to reach. What we do, of course, is help shine the light of Jesus out here, but we also have to reach out into the public, or else we wouldn't get refreshed with more men or more ladies trying to show up and get help. So the only reason that we do all these events is to where we can actually shine a light on what we do. We teach Jesus and how to overcome drug and alcohol addiction through Christ. But what better way than to get groups of people together to praise and worship, to sing Proud to Be an American, to even share stories of hope and redemption, or just to simply golf or to simply run. And I'll tell you one thing, Stephen Cook impressed me with his ability to run. I think he came in like third place after having a terrible drug addiction and withdrawal and all this other stuff, not running or exercising at all, and then ended up in third place. So just imagine what that guy could do if he actually practiced.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I had some people I had in mind that I wanted to beat specifically last year, and I at least accomplished that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talked about needing help from the people on the other side of the camera here. I think it's important to mention that we couldn't do what we do if it weren't for the friends of the ministry, the friends that we have that share what we have going on, that come and visit, that come to our events, and that sponsor our events. We're so thankful for everything that everybody outside of the ministry does for us, because it takes you guys and what we do here to keep this going, and we're so thankful for that.
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all very much. We're glad that y'all could watch upcoming events. Just be watching on our Facebook page. Be looking for what's going on as far as how you might be of assistance or service, and then we'll do the same. Or if you just want to comment and tell us what it is that you're looking for, well, then maybe we might be able to help you. But thank you very much. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.